I saw here was an opportunity for something that I'm passionate about, which is smoking food, barbecue, and then I'm also passionate about marketing. And so I chose to go sell the seasoning itself as opposed to open a restaurant because the overhead was going to be lower and I could work more digitally than having to commit a bunch of money to buying a space and getting staff and having rent and all the overhead that would come with having a barbecue joint. Adding a gift to it, like a free gift, a premium or something, helps justify the purchase. If Nick buys something today and it was super expensive and he goes to his wife and it's like, babe, I bought this and it was really expensive. She's like, what the heck? If Nick's like, hey, babe, I bought this, it was expensive, but we got a free car, she's going to be like, oh, that was great. So you want to give people an excuse, a reason to not look stupid when they're making a purchase.
Hey, this guy sells $300,000 a year on the side of a product he didn't even invent. What's up? What's up? Nick Loper here. Welcome to the Side Hustle Show, where we've been helping people make extra money since 2013. Today's guest took a creative approach to his side hustle, starting with a product that was already selling and then applying his own branding, marketing, positioning to it and driving around $300,000 a year in sales. From baldbuck.com, Chris Gray, welcome to the Side Hustle Show.
Nick, I'm happy to be here. Your voice is so soothing. Like it could be like on a calm radio station or something. You have a really nice voice, dude.
This is my podcast voice, honed over decades of doing this. Okay. well, you as well. Very deep. But stick around. In this one, we're going to learn how Chris came up with the idea for Bald Buck barbecue seasoning. It's a barbecue rub brand. The sales tactics you can borrow for your own business and how he's grown and scaled all as a part-time project. And barbecue season is upon us, so good timing on this one. And my understanding is that's where this story starts. A few years ago, eating some delicious chicken.
Yeah, man. I was hanging out with my brother-in-law, and I'm in Texas, Texas boy, and I love smoking food. And one day I go over there and I eat this chicken, and I'm like, man, this is delicious. What did you put on it? And he showed me the seasoning. I said, oh, okay. So I went and found out how to get some, or actually he gave me some, like a big bag of it. I used it on chicken, Nick, and my friends loved it. My family loved it. I started getting requests to like cater within the family, right? This is not like paid catering, but people were just loving it. And so I was like, I'm sitting on something here, and I could either go open a restaurant or I can just sell the rub. So I decided to sell the rub.
Well, I'll pause right there because those are two very different options that I think other people might have come up with. Other people might have been like, well, here's where you can go get it, or here's where I got it, right? Like there's the easy solution, and then there's the one step, inserting yourself into potential profit stream step.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the way I think. I just saw an opportunity, right? I like most entrepreneurs, I probably suffer from chasing too many things. But I saw here was an opportunity for something that I'm passionate about, which is smoking food, barbecue, and then I'm also passionate about marketing. And so I chose to go sell the seasoning itself as opposed to open a restaurant because the overhead was going to be lower and I could work more digitally than having to commit a bunch of money to buying a space and getting staff and having rent and all the overhead that would come with having a barbecue joint. Okay,
so step one, delicious chicken, maybe step 0. Step 2 is, I assume, going to your brother and say, well, where did you get this stuff?
Yeah.
How can I build a distribution channel here? What's going on there?
So this is what I love. I tell people I sell this barbecue seasoning, and they're like, oh man, did you come up with your own special blend? And how long did it take? And did you have a lab? And none of that, man. I just found out who made it. And then I called them up and I'm like, hey, I like your seasoning. Do you white label it? Meaning, do they, give you the rub and allow you to put your own brand on it? And white labeling happens all the time. If you go to Costco has Kirkland's, which is a white label of something else. Walmart has, Great Value, a white label of something else. And so Amazon does it. Everybody does it. And so I called them up and said, hey, can I just white label your season? They're like, yeah, we have a program for that. And I was like, great. So then I had to go and create my own brand, my own coloring, my own all that stuff, which was easy to do. I was lucky because my business partner, I have a business partner in several businesses. He's a graphic design guy. And we were going over all these different names on, what we wanted the seasoning to be. I had a list of 20 different names. One was Bald Buck. We chose Bald Buck because it was funny. Plus, I'm bald. My nickname with my friends is Buck. They would call me Bald Buck. So I thought this would be a way of like getting back at them. Like, hey, you made fun of me. Now I have a brand. And so we did that. We came up. He made the logo. We came up with the name. We gave it to the company. They label it, they can it, and they just ship it to us. So all I got to do now is push it, which is kind of scary, Nick, because when you get sold or when you get shipped 5,000 units of seasoning, you better figure out how to move it, or you better cook a lot of chicken.
Okay, so the seasoning company had this system already in place, and they say, hey, you can totally do that. Just send us your graphics, send us your seasoning, or send us your branding package, and we'll put it on the bottles for you. You don't even have to do that yourself.
Yeah, they can it. They put it on. Now, if I want to save money, I got to do that myself eventually. But they do it all. And a lot of places do this, Nick, and a lot of different things. It could be microphones. It could be art. It could be shirts. Like a lot of people do most of the work for you. All you have to do is go push it. And that's something I wish I would have understood a long time ago. I don't have to create everything. A lot of the work can be done. I just need to find something that works and then find a way to sell it. So in this case, this seasoning worked. My family loved it. Friends loved it. It was already popular in a different state. I just had to take it, bring it, and wrap a different story around it. And that's what I did.
Yeah. And this is, there's some parallels or similarities to like the Amazon FBA private labeling world that was big, 8 or 10 years ago, whereas, look at the, 2, 3, 4-star reviews for a given product. What are people, it's, it's already selling, there's some proven demand, but how can you make some tweak or improvement or iteration and go oftentimes find that same factory? Like, I want you to make me this, but with these adjustments, with these small changes, and then bring that to market. And like, that was a very popular side hustle for a long time. And I imagine people are still doing it. And in this case, it sounds like, well, I didn't tweak the recipe at all. I'm going to put my own marketing to it once I've got it landed.
Yeah, man. I think things get, commoditized easily nowadays. And even if you have like let's say you have a widget, like say there's a widget out there and everybody's selling it. And I say, well, my widget just kind of has this little special thing to it. The special feature. Well, then nobody cares about a feature, right? Like I have a Apple Watch right here. If you see any kind of Apple commercials, they don't sell you on the features of the phone or the watch or whatever it is. It's always some kind of benefit, and usually one key benefit they talk about. With seasoning, right? There's no there is a benefit, but what I think sells this thing is the stories that are behind it. These are things that are happened in my life, or things I've experienced, or things I heard from other people. But I don't know if you ever heard, Nick, there was this, somebody can look this up. I forget the name of it, but it was a study done over 10 years ago. And these guys bought several items from eBay, several like really, really cheap items. They probably bought them for, I don't know, sub $2, sub $1, whatever.
Okay.
They buy them. And then what they did was they paid some copywriters to put a story behind each item. And then they relisted it, right? So say they bought something for a buck on eBay, take that same item, relist it, this time with a story. There was a story about a horse head and a story about this, that. They did that. They sold this thing for like, if they bought it for $2, they could sell it for like $32, right? Whatever that multiple is. And that was item after item after item, with the only difference being the story. That's an example of what happened with Bald Buck. Because you take this seasoning, we're not just selling seasoning here. There's a story behind that. There's love behind it. There's entertainment behind it. There's some drama behind it. We wrap these stories around the recipes, and that's how we sell it.
Yeah, I like that. I tried to do something similar, selling an old car of mine, a crappy car. It was going to sell for like $2,000, but I was like, here's the journey that we've been on together. Like, it's ready for its next adventure.
Yes.
This is great. I love that example of taking a commoditized thing and adding words to it, adding a little more emotion and story to it. So
absolutely,
you get 5,000 units. First off, we got to pause and say, well, how much does that cost? Was that the minimum, or could you have gone lower? Like, how much does the minimum order, or what's the startup cost here?
Well, the MOQ was like 300 actually, but it was like the price is super high. So I just like, I just jumped in. It's kind of like to burn the ships, right? Like if I buy 300, I'm kind of like, yeah, oh, well, I got 300 here. It might work. If I buy 5,000, which ended up being over $5,000 or something, then it's like, okay, I better move this seasoning or my wife is going to be upset. So that gave me the added motivation to really move this seasoning. And so one of the things that helped get it off the wall, I'm talking a lot. Did I answer your question before I go on to the next thing?
No, that's good. Okay, so just to get a ballpark, okay, 5,000 units, roughly 5,000, maybe a little more, but like $1 or $2 per jar, per thing. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, go ahead. So these things get landed, and now you're like, well, now I got to figure out how to move them. Like, what are some of your first marketing moves here?
All right, so the first one, I didn't know. I was sitting down, and I was like, man, I gotta move this. And so I just started thinking, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just reach out. I used something to tell me the most popular barbecue influencers on YouTube. I Googled it, got the most popular ones, and I went through the list. And then I was watching these different guys' videos, and there was some I resonated with, some I didn't. There was one in particular named T-Roy. I just liked him. I just liked his vibe. I liked his show. I was just digging him. So I started doing my research on him. If you're reaching out to somebody, and this is something that I've learned. So this is like, if I was watching this show, this is me talking to me. If I'm looking to reach out to Nick or somebody on YouTube, learn a little bit about them and be able to speak to them a little bit. Because if you just kind of come out and you're just like, hey, sell my seasoning, and I don't know who you are, well, then they're not gonna really care about you. But if you can reach out and speak their language, or resonate with them in some form or fashion, or show that you've been watching it or you're familiar with them, then that helps. Let me go back. So anyways, I do my research on T-Roy, and come to find out, Nick, that T-Roy used to live in the same city I lived in. It's a bigger city now in Texas, but it's not huge. It's called Pflugerville. It's north of Austin. It's like not a big city. He lived in Pflugerville. I lived in Pflugerville. Then I found out that he lived and I forgot how I did this. I was doing research. He lived in an old neighborhood that my best friend lived in. So when I reach out to T-Roy, I reach out to him with I don't just say a simple email like, hey, check out my seasoning. I gave him an email that he would break his pattern, his reading pattern. The title of the email was like, bald black Jamaican from Pflugerville, Texas. That's going to be a lot different from everything else he sees in his email stuff, right? So bald black Jamaican from Pflugerville, Texas. He opens it. Then he opens it, and I first go into, I'm from Pflugerville. I had one of my best friends grew up in Black Hawk, blah, blah, blah. He knows that I've done my research then. Yeah. Then I go and, go ahead, Nick, sorry.
No, that's right. Trying to find like some common connection. It may not, luck may not strike that you have, a hometown in common with the big influencer in your niche, but like use that as a framework to try and find some sort of common connection.
Yes. There's always going to be something. I got lucky with that, but there could have been a number of things. I could have talked about seasoning or an episode, whatever it is. There's a number of ways I could have gone about it. But to your point, Nick, is find something in common. I did that. And then the next thing I did that was important was I didn't say, hey, will you just put my seasoning on your show? Who's going to do that? That's all. That's like, what's in it for me? My thing was what's in it for him. And through that, it was like, you know what? I love to give you this seasoning. I like to mail it to you. I want you to try it. And I said it works best on chicken, smoked chicken. If you like it, I will then give it to the first 50 fans who request it for free. So one, I'm saying, hey, try it first, because I'm not sure if he's going to like it or not. And I want him to like it. Otherwise, he's not going to really be like as authentic when he talks about it on the show. And then two, it was something that he could give to his fans. It's not me giving to it's him giving something to his fans. I lose what, 100 something, 200 something bucks when it comes to the shipping and all that other stuff. Yeah. But I just paid that money for massive advertisement and backing.
Yeah, no, this is really cool. So it sounds like he does try it. He responds, first of all, you get a yes. Yeah, sure. Send me it. I'll give it a try. He likes it, makes a video about it. And there's a cool angle of like, hey, this stuff is super good. Plus, if you're watching this and you're the first to like, comment, subscribe, whatever his call to action is, if you're in the first 50, I'll send you, or Chris will send you a jar of this.
Absolutely. And that was done in like 2021, I think. And I'm still getting emails today. Hey, I saw your video. That was done in like 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, yeah. The first
still,
50 have long since been claimed, but well, that's kind of cool. Is it's like an evergreen
Yes.
type of medium where people could be discovering the stuff years after it's originally published.
Absolutely. And then now what was beautiful about this is, okay, we, I put it out there, the video, you get this massive spike in traffic when the video drops. First 50 people get it for free. Other people realize, hey, I can't get it for free. I'll buy it. They go buy it. So a couple things happen from there. One, other YouTubers will reach out to me about, hey, I saw it on T-Roy's station. Can we do it on ours? And I'm like, yeah, I'll give it to your fans I'll give it to 20 of your fans, depending on the size of their channel. So I just started giving it away to people who asked me to do reviews.
Okay, because T-Roy was a giant in the barbecue influencer space. Other people were watching and saying, hey, could we set up a similar arrangement for my own channel, for the other barbecue channels? I'm looking, it looks like 350,000 subs for T-Roy. So not a small influencer to say yes right out of the gate.
Not a small one, dude. He had, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. He has a massive influence, and other people who want to be like him are watching. So then they want to be like him. So what they do, they go copy him, and they reached out to me. So I got other videos done just through that. And then number two, that I have the video. I have a video of T-Roy that, to your points, evergreen. Now I can use that in several different ways as social proof. So now if we do an ad or we do a story or something, it's not us talking about how great Ball Buck is. We'll do the story or whatever, and we'll put Ball Buck in there, but we're also going to drop that video there so that the person who's reading this story, reading this thing, this recipe, can click the video, go to YouTube, or they could watch the video right on the page. Or if they YouTube Bald Buck, he's probably going to come up with some other people. So they see an ad or whatever, and we talk about how good it is. They leave the landing page, and now they search us, and we're there. We're on YouTube, and we have other people talking about how good the season is, which gives us some social proof and helps sell it.
Yeah, it's not just the brand talking about it like, hey, trust us, we're great. It's like, oh, no, we have other people vouching for it too.
Yes, absolutely.
So aside from the giveaway, I take it, so the people who don't they don't make it in time for the giveaway, like, do they come by and buy the stuff? Like, are you starting to see your first paid sales at this point too?
Yeah, the people who didn't make the giveaway, some of them start buying it, then eventually that slows down. And so I hit this point where I was like, okay, I did the T-Roy video. That was cool. It's cool to show my family and friends and stuff like that, make a few sales. But then how do I keep selling now?
Right, I got 5,000 of these to move here.
Yeah. So then that's what I came up with. I was like, well, that's when it hit me. And I was like, well, I have this video. This video is excellent social proof. So at that point, we were like, you know what? Let's write some blogs, some stories about this. And what we did, Nick, was we would, I was like, you know what, let me write an article about how to smoke chicken, or get with, we would get like, this is interesting. My brother-in-law, right? His dad's a salty older guy or whatever. So I would just talk to this guy. This guy's been in a lot of different barbecue competitions. I would talk to him about stories, and he would teach me a little bit about how to smoke chicken. But I'd also ask him about stories, about competition stories. I jotted down. So now I take those same tips he gave me about how to smoke chicken, because they're really good tips, and I could write an article about how to smoke the best chicken and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get some feedback on, I'm going to educate you on how to smoke the chicken. But more important, there's going to be a story in there. And that story would probably resonate with the demographic that's going to read that article. And so that's what we did.
All right. And you're relying on Google organic at this point for people to find it?
Great question. We pushed a lot of that through Facebook. I'm a marketer. So if we could rely on organic, and if I didn't have 5,000 units of it, I probably would just slow roll it, but didn't have the time for that. And so what I did was we just went to Facebook ads, put an ad out there, and then let it roll. And the great thing for you guys who don't know, Facebook ads, or most platforms nowadays, they do what I call the heavy lifting. Like back in the day when me and Nick were doing a bunch of marketing, you'd have to be real specific about your targeting and kind of get all technical with your targeting. Nowadays, these platforms, these social media platforms are so good. They kind of know who to put these things in front of without you saying it. You just need to put the ad out there and it'll figure it out for you.
Okay. And so was the ad like a direct call to action, hey, come buy the seasoning, or was it more of like a content, we're gonna show them the article on how to smoke, here's a great smoked chicken recipe, like just trying to get a sense of what you found effective there?
If I come out and say, Ball Buck seasoning, buy it, watch this video, not going to sell. But if I come out and say, hey, here's how to smoke chicken, or here's some 3 smoked chicken tips that most people don't know, and I give them really good tips that they did not know, that's really helpful, and then I subtly mention the rub and how it helps, now it has a better chance of selling. It's an indirect sell. The purpose here is to educate, then sell, not sell.
Got it. And I'm looking at pricing on the site, and it seems to be kind of in the $30-ish, $35 maybe, and maybe some. Oh no, it's 18 for the single container. So if the acquisition cost is $1 or $2, like there's some margin to play with there. Have you done any testing on pricing, or how do you arrive at this?
No, man, I started at the top, so I just went and looked at the best rubs in the market, found how much what was the max they were selling it for, and then I matched that. And I had to because, this is not a high ticket product. So you want, if there was if I'm watching this and I'm giving myself advice, like charge more, right? It's easier to come down in a price than it is to go up. So I figured I needed to charge more so I could have room for hiring people and shipping and buying products and the things that come with selling a seasoning. So I charged as much as I possibly could, and I've gone up since then because tariffs and things are more expensive to get shipped in and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, I found the most expensive thing on the market and matched it.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Because you're going to have to pay for shipping or pay for ads. There's acquisition costs involved. Did you pay for these giveaways? All sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. I pay for these giveaways. I mean, I needed as much room to work with as possible. And so I need as much margin as possible.
I was going to say, when it's a direct-to-consumer play, it's not like somebody is standing at the grocery store and they're, comparing 1, 2, and 3, and well, this one is $5 and this one is 10 and this one is 15, and they're like really looking at the label and sniffing it and smelling. It's like it's almost in this impulse buy category of like, well, this YouTuber recommended it, or this recipe looks good, like you recommended it. It's like, I'll give it a try, right? And so it seems maybe, even though it's somewhat commoditized, right? You can get this stuff at any grocery store, but it's like, that's that story and that branding and the positioning and like the interrupt factor. Oh, I saw this on Facebook. I saw this on YouTube, where it's maybe less price sensitive than you might think.
Yeah. I mean, if they're at the grocery store and they're comparing, okay, this one's 5, this one's 10, this one's 20. Oh, I'm going to get the 5, I want to try it. And that's just a commoditized type thing. Whereas our seasoning, not saying that there's nothing special about the seasoning at the grocery store, but there is a lot of love behind what we do and the stories that, I'm talking to, by the way, my rub goes out to an older demographic, and it's funny because where I get my stories comes from an older demographic. I got the pitmaster guy I was talking to, he's an older gentleman. There's a female I talked to, and she's older as well. And I go and I grab their stories. I grab that, people who love to cook, and then I use that. If I was just trying to push seasoning, I wouldn't do that. Like, I care about this and these people, and they talk to me, and there's a love there that I then transfer to the landing page. That's much different than me just putting an ad out about a seasoning. I think there's more behind what we do. And when the reader reads that and it takes them out, it's like when people go to the movies, they're going to the movies to check out. Like there's nothing going on. That's a lot of people's way of being present and checking out, right? So now if I give you a story and it happens to be about seasoning, but I've allowed you to check out and get immersed into something, and then you see this thing, you're much more receptive to paying whatever the price is, because now it's not a $5, $10, or $20 thing. It's this really cool story about this really cool product. Changes the game.
Here's one thing that kind of surprised me, because I've seen so many direct-to-consumer brands go this, where the default is the subscription. I'll send you another thing every month. Click here to sign up. And it's like, timeout. I don't know if I want, like, I haven't even tried it yet, but it's like everybody seems to be going that way. And I was kind of surprised, especially since it's like a replenishable type of thing. If you use it, if you like it, you're going to run out. You're going to need to order more. I was a little bit surprised not to see that like checkbox for the recurring, subscribe and save type of thing here.
I thought about that, Nick, and I was like, man, really, it's a lot of seasoning. And you're only going to, I mean, if you're a heavy user, you're probably using 2 cans. I mean, if you're a barbecue pit master guy, whatever, okay, different. But your everyday person who's buying this, maybe 1 a year. I'm lucky if they get 2. It's just so. What I'm going to send you seasoning every 3 months. You're just going to stack up. No, I'm going to sell it to you if you like it. I'm going to sell it to you, and I'm also going to send you weekly emails to let you know that I'm still here. So when you decide to buy, you can do it. But again, this thing is, there is a very human component behind what we do. At least I believe. And I think that the way we approach it, avoiding the subscription thing is just is an example of that human approach.
All right. That's fair. We're going to do the follow up, but we're not going to force you to commit to do a subscription.
I wouldn't want to buy all that seasoning. Like, what am I going to do with all that seasoning? It doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah.
Okay. Fair. Going back to the Facebook ads, was there a target cost of acquisition that you like to be in, and like how often do you have to rotate the copy, or is it just like we're running this on Evergreen?
Some of the campaigns we run 3, 4, 5 months at a time, depending. It is hard to get a target CPA. Target CPA, for those who don't know, is target cost per acquisition, right? So you want to say, hey, I want to sell this thing. I want this to cost me no more than $5 in advertisement for everything I sell. That's harder to do nowadays. Back in the day, before cookies and this, and when consumer behavior was a little more simple, you could get a pretty decent target CPA. You could be like, yeah, it's cost me about $5 to sell this thing. Nowadays, the consumer is smart. We are all smart. Like, I'll give you a quick story. We had Windows installed in my house a year or 2 ago, which were way more expensive than I thought Windows should be. We got them installed in our house, but this is the thing. I saw a ad on Facebook. I then forwarded it to my wife. My wife goes to their website, comes back and talks to me, and then she calls them again, I think, through their PPC, their pay-per-click, their Google Ads. So what happens is their Google Ads gets credit for that sell, but where did it start? It started back with me, with Facebook. So with that, what I mean by that is, like, I can't trust the CPA, and Facebook might be super high. But if I'm selling a lot of products on the back end, well, they might have saw the ad on Facebook.
Yeah, they had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, they saw it on Facebook, then went to my site, or they went to Amazon or something like that. And so I have to kind of get a feel for it, as much as it's not as much as a science like it used to be.
Okay. Yeah, there's as much as we'd like to be able to track down to the dollar with all these attribution models, it sounds like there may be a little bit of a gray area, and you have to kind of trust the bottom line of what sold, what was our ad spend. They had to come from somewhere. They had to find that initial awareness somewhere, and it must be working, even if it's not. They didn't follow the funnel in the same session.
Yeah, I mean, and you have these other attribution tools like, I think, High Rose and Triple Well. They're supposed to cover. To me, they're not that great. To me, at the end of the day, this is just for me. I'm not saying that for everybody, but just for me, it's what Nick just said. Where it has to come from somewhere. Let me see what's happening at the bottom line. What am I spending on marketing? Total. What are my top line sales? Total. Let me do my best to try to figure out what's really working as best as I can. But it comes down to having a feel, which you get by doing this over time.
Okay. Now, are you shipping these initial orders out of your spare bedroom, out of the garage? Like, is there a logistics partner? Like, all of a sudden, if we're talking about 5,000 units licking and sticking and going to the post office, and it's like, this is starting to get to be a whole other job.
Yeah, my living room was real fragrant there for a while, really fragrant. And when I first started doing this, it was just me and in my office. And I would have 2 days a week, which I didn't have those 2 days to be doing this, but there was 2 days. I started off really heavy. So it'd be like 2 full days of me just doing it all. Like, I was like, because I got hit. It was like an oh my gosh moment where a lot came at once. My very first article worked way better than I thought it would. And then all of a sudden I have all these orders. And so now I'm like, oh crap, I have to do all these orders, and 2 days a week of just doing orders. Then as time went on, I ended up, my grandma lives down the road. Thank goodness she has a big shed that I could put an AC unit in. So now I put all the product and everything and all my materials in that shed. The AC and all that's good to go. And then I have a pool house / workout room in my backyard. And I have 2 employees, actually 3 employees. One of the employees comes once to twice a week, depending on the workload. And she'll go in the pool house and she has everything she needs out there. And she's just, we do all that in the pool house. USPS comes and picks it up and I'm done.
All right. We're not promising overnight shipping. We're going to process these a couple days a week.
You get it when you get it.
Yeah. Fine. You mentioned Amazon. So I do want to talk about that as a distribution channel, as a place to, potentially find people who, they discovered you through YouTube and they're used to shopping on Amazon, so they may find you over there, or through potentially Amazon directly if they're looking for unique gifts or barbecue seasoning or something directly on Amazon. Can you talk to me about that as a sales channel?
Yeah, absolutely. I was against it at first because for those who don't know, when you ship on Amazon, you don't keep your data. What do I mean by that? That means you don't know the person's email. You don't know their phone number. I don't know if you even get their address. I don't remember. But point being is, if you buy from my store, if Nick comes to my store and he buys, I get all Nick's information, and not just like random information, good information, like his real name, real phone number, a real email, because he just bought something, so he wants to track it. So I get a real email address and I get his physical address. This is quality data, which is a whole nother game, whole nother conversation. So I get that. When you go to Amazon, you get none of that.
Yeah, it's Amazon's customer, not your customer.
It's Amazon. Exactly. I'm helping Amazon get data, and nowadays data is gold. And so I'm helping Amazon get all the data, keep all of it, and I just sell. So I was against it, but I was like, you know what? People trust Amazon. They may not trust me, even though I have all the social proof. Let me put this on Amazon. So I put it on Amazon, and man, it's sold. Like, people just trust Amazon. So I was like, oh gosh, that people are really buying it. I
see like hundreds of reviews on the listing. Yeah.
Yeah. People, it's Amazon. They trust it. So I had to go there at the expense of data. It helps with the top line. So I just had to go there, and now here's the thing with Amazon, I don't play the whole, let me compete with other barbecue seasonings and barbecue brands and play the organic and the SEO. I had my site optimized on Amazon. Like the first time I threw it up there, it was a really weak looking like listing. And then eventually I was like, oh, let me look like a professional. And so we did it, and it looks like a professional listing now. At least as professional as I can pay for. But we did that, and it, like I said, man, it did really, really well.
What's your take on this? Because we've seen more people go your direction versus starting on Amazon. We see more and more people try and build up their own traffic sources through their own Shopify powered store, and then tap into, that a certain percentage of people are going to be looking for it on it. Can I just get it on Amazon? Like, they already have my checkout information. Can I just click the one click thing? Did you find there's some value in the algorithm when you're like driving your own traffic to a certain extent? Absolutely.
I think that I'm playing the whole like Amazon SEO. When I say SEO, guys, it's search engine optimization. So trying to rank organically on, like, if somebody typed in barbecue rub, there's a game you play to get you at the very top. I didn't feel like playing all that playing the game. I didn't feel like advertising on Amazon. I don't even do the whole fulfillment by Amazon because they take a lot of your money. If I do the advertising and fulfillment by Amazon, my margins shrink. So I was like, forget it. What I'll do is do all my advertising off that platform, and I only use Amazon when somebody wants to buy it. If somebody finds me on Amazon, they've probably made their decision already, and that's what I wanted.
So so the conversion rate on those, listing clicks are super high because they already know what they are looking for.
Super high conversion.
And so you're doing fulfillment by merchant, like somebody will collect the order and then you'll ship it out.
Okay. Absolutely.
Got it. Yeah. Otherwise, if they're warehousing it, if you're doing their ad platform, like all this stuff, and all of a sudden those margins get real, real narrow. Amazon's making money no matter what your margins are.
Amazon's so dirty, Nick. And what they'll do too is, like, if you have a commodity or something, like say I had this comb. If you're wondering why I have a comb, it's for my beard, not for my head, obviously. But if you have a comb there, and Amazon sees that you're selling a ton of this comb, what does Amazon do? The Amazon comb. And
the Amazon Basics version.
Yeah, they have all your data. They know exactly what you're doing. And they have more money than you, so they'll go and just take your product and undercut you. The beautiful thing about this, and so you have to be cognizant, man. They'll play that game where you could have your Amazon barbecue rub, but it's not going to sell because you're not doing what I'm doing, which is putting something else behind it.
Yeah. And you have the control over the pricing too, so you can kind of make sure it's the same pricing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I hit on one thing about pricing, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you go on my site, you'll see that there's, I'm not just giving people seasoning. Seasoning is expensive. There's some items where it's, a premium. So the premium being like, you buy this seasoning, you get this thing for free. My seasoning is expensive. I get it. And so what I did was, I would work with, talking about MOQs, I would work with like an Alibaba or somebody like that who sells wholesale. This is prior to all the tariff stuff, by the way. So I'm not sure what the prices are now. But back in the day, I could like get a bunch of barbecue slicers I can get a bunch of slicers or barbecue meat, like thawing trays or 50 cal bottle openers, just cool things, depending on if it's a female or male who's buying my stuff, that if they went and bought that item alone, it would cost them north of $20, sometimes over 50, depending on the item. So I go and I buy those and I say, hey, if you buy 5 things of seasoning, which lasts you 2-3 years, if you buy 5 things of seasoning, you'll get this thing for free, this meat thawing tray. Or you buy 2 things of seasoning, you get this slicer for free. And then you see that and you're like, oh, the price of this is $30, but if I just bought the slicer alone, it's $20. So really, it makes sense. I did the premium thing, and you can help me kind of like make this point a little better here, Nick, but adding a gift to it, like a free gift, a premium or something, helps justify the purchase. If Nick buys something today and it was super expensive and he goes to his wife and it's like, babe, I bought this and it was really expensive, she's like, what the heck? But if Nick's like, hey, babe, I bought this, it was expensive, but we got a free car, she's going to be like, oh, that was great. So you want to give people an excuse, a reason to not look stupid when they're making a purchase.
I think this is a really creative way to increase the average order size, where you're like,
absolutely.
Well, I could just get the 1 pack, but for a little bit more, I could get 2 plus this free gift, or I could get 5, I could give some away. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting way to do it. I don't know if I've seen anybody doing exactly that on other e-commerce sites like this before.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was exactly what it was. It's like, I need to increase this average order value for this thing to make sense. And it's a good deal. These slicers and these other things that we give away, those things are expensive, man. Like, and so we just give it to you for free with the seasoning, and now it makes more sense to buy the seasoning.
Okay. Yeah. So are all these sitting in the pool house / warehouse now too?
Yeah. They're in the warehouse / pool house. We have most of it in the warehouse, and then we just went, as we move things or things are selling, we just put what we need to in the pool house. And again, the pool house is my workout room, and it is quite fragrant.
Come out of there smelling like barbecue.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing that you touched on was email marketing and sending out kind of a weekly, sometimes story-based, newsletter, so to speak. Is this content on how to smoke better chicken? Like, give me an idea of what kind of stuff that you're sending out that can't always be, hey, did you run out yet? Buy more.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was avoiding was, you don't want to send out something like, hey, buy more, because nobody cares about it. Again, I'm thinking about the consumer more than I'm thinking about me when it comes to this. And with the newsletter, this is a way of building a community around a seasoning, which sounds odd, right? How do you build a community around a seasoning? Well, we do it through our newsletter. And for those who don't know, if you're looking at a side hustle, don't sleep on newsletters. There's platforms out there like Beehive, and newsletters are big business. There was one, the Morning Brew. They sold for like 75 million. And then there's smaller ones that sell for $1 million and smaller ones that sell for 500, 600,000. So newsletters are a side hustle if you could build it. And so what I decided was, hey, you know what? We're going to do a newsletter out of this. It's going to have a weekly recipe, but it's not just going to be, hey, here's a cheesecake recipe. It has nothing to do with the seasoning, but I give them recipes. But if I just sent out recipes about chicken Alfredo or something like that and point it back to my site, nobody cares. But it's more of the same where it's like, okay, who are these people I know that I can get stories from or whatever. And then I go and I take those stories and I give those to the people. Like, here's a story about something that happened last week or whatever it is. And then I give them the actual recipe of what I'm saying or what I'm talking about that week, and then let them go to the site if they want to or not. And it's a cooking newsletter, but really it's an entertainment newsletter, where it's a story about something that happened with our guy Buck that week. And then there's 3 interesting articles. It's typically articles that we find interesting, something that will entertain people. And then there's a recipe. And it's that format week after week. And what we found, Nick, is that the audience loves it. They email us back saying, hey, this is something that they look forward to weekly. Like, they really look forward to it, something that entertains them. So now, again, it is not just a seasoning. It's a community. It's a thing of entertainment. It changes. I'm out of that whole commoditized, is it 5, 10, or 20? I'm in a whole new ball game.
Yeah. I mean, is the newsletter, do you see that becoming a side hustle on a side hustle? Like, is it become its own like barbecue influencer thing that people follow along with, whether or not they ever buy the stuff?
That's exactly what it's going to be. It's a side hustle on a side hustle. At this point, I did my first advertising 2 weeks ago, my very first one. $7.20, right?
Nailed it.
We got to start somewhere though, right? But I'm consistently like Beehive. I like Beehive, the platform, because Beehive will make it easy for your newsletter to get sponsored. All you have to do is just make sure people want to actually read your newsletter. And so we get high engagement. And so now we're getting flooded with sponsorships. My first one was $7.20. You got to start somewhere. And then now I'm starting to figure out, okay, I can start testing how to put sponsorships in here. And there's other ways to monetize a newsletter. So to your point, Nick, it's a side hustle on a side hustle. And to me, I think that I will eventually be more profitable in the newsletter business than I am with the seasoning business.
Interesting. Yeah, you can see where it's going. How many subscribers do you have to at this point?
Right now we're at 7,000. We were as high as 9,000. I had 42,000 emails at one point. And then I went down to like 15,000 that were like somewhat active. And then now on Beehive, since it's so, they really care about people engaging, I keep the list real tight. Like, if you don't open my email within 30 days, I'm kicking you off and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And so I keep it real tight because I'd rather have a tighter list with higher engagement than a big list with low engagement.
Okay. So Beehive, Shopify, I shouldn't put words in your mouth. I assume Shopify is what's running the site.
Absolutely.
Any other tools or tech that you swear by here?
So we run the site on Shopify. We use Beehive as a newsletter. I do a lot of talking with ChatGPT and Claude. These are AI platforms. A lot of idea stuff happening with that. For those who, I'm sure at this point everybody knows about ChatGPT. Some of y'all might know about Claude. But I don't just go in there and like just come out to ChatGPT and ask it, hey, solve this problem. I really take time to make sure ChatGPT knows exactly how I want it to act. And not just that, if you're in ChatGPT, you go to the top of it, there's certain models that ChatGPT has. Each model does something different. You'll have a basic model. You'll have a model that's good for ideas and research and writing. You'll have a model that's good for coding. I am very, very intentional about the way I'm training it to act. Think about like training a person. I tell it exactly how to act, and I give it examples of what I'm looking for, right? Okay. And then I pick the correct model I'm looking for. So if I'm doing research ideal stuff, I'll pick the research one. At this point, it's 4.5. So I know how I want it to act. I have it in the correct model, and now I start working with it and coming up with ideas. And here's the thing I've learned about AI. If you are terrible at, let's say, writing copy, which is writing words to sell your stuff. If you're terrible at that and you use AI, it's just going to multiply how terrible you are, right? That's all it does. But if you have a skill, like something you're good at, and you use AI correctly, it'll multiply your efficacy by 100 times. And so I use it to magnify my strengths, and in some cases compensate for my weaknesses. But I find much more help when I use it to magnify my strengths.
Yeah, but you're right. It's kind of garbage in, garbage out. But if you can kind of prompt and prime it to act a certain way, it does a really good job of doing that.
And again, I'll have ChatGPT open and I'll have Claude open. Claude's another one, and I'll do the exact same thing to both. and get different ideas and different feedback. And then I'll kind of compare and contrast that feedback. It's just like helping me, expanding the mind, man. It's really good.
Any other tools or resources that you like?
If you are trying to sell something and you don't have stories, you don't know what's going on or whatever, Reddit is a gold mine. Just a gold mine, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to like crowdsource things or figure out what people think, if you're trying to find the story or something for something, these different stuff. And I like to go to Reddit. I'll find the subreddit that makes the most sense for what I'm trying to figure out. Then I'll sort it by top comments. Then once you do that, or top posts, you can sort it by top post. And then after you sort it by top post, you can say for the year, for all time, for the last week. So I usually go top post all time or top post for the year. And I start at the top and I look at the posts. And not only do I look at the posts, I'll open the post up and I'll look at the comments. These are real people. And so depending on your niche, let's say you're in the weight loss niche, and you sell to females, and you find a subreddit that has a bunch of females who are looking to lose weight, and you sort it the way I'm telling you to sort it, and you go there and you read the post, and more important, read the comments, and the comments that really got a bunch of likes and stuff. You learn a lot. It's crowdsourcing for free. I would pay money for Reddit with the type of stuff that I learned from it. It is amazing.
Do you have an example in the barbecue space? Like, I'm trying to think of what that might look like.
I think, and now that I think about it, when at the very beginning, when I was telling you I was trying to find an influencer, I used Google. I ended up going to Reddit, and that's how I found T-Roy. Now that I remember it, but specifically selling the product, there was what was it? It was tips on how to smoke something called Tri-Tip, I believe. Okay. And I went to Reddit, went to the barbecue thing. I looked up Tri-Tip, went in there, started looking through what people were saying. Look at amazing tips. I take it, I go test it. It worked great. Boom, good to go.
And then putting that into an email or putting that into an article, which then drives a Facebook ad, which then drives sales.
Absolutely. And that's just one small example. I've got different businesses, done different things. I've used Reddit heavy.
Got it. Yeah, this is almost a page out of the BuzzFeed playbook where, there's curating different tweets or different and it's just, now that's a piece of content for them.
Exactly. And then for me, I'll go to because I don't just sell barbecue recipes. I had let's say a creamy lemon chicken or something like that. I'll go to things like All Recipes or just any popular food thing. And it's the same thing. You go and you just look at the recipe. Okay, is that good or whatever? But then I start reading the comments. There's so much free crowdsourcing information out there if you get creative. If you want to pay for stuff, there's another tool I use called SEM Rush. Sure. And this talks about traffic that's at different websites. And it'll show you, hey, this website's getting so much X traffic or whatever. But if you pay a little bit more, you figure out what the top pages are in that website. So now let's take a cooking website like All Recipes. I go there, put it in SEM Rush. It will show me all the traffic. Then I'll select something called Top Pages, and I'll sort it for top pages by the last 2 years. And then you'll start to see which one of their recipes got the most traffic. And if that recipe got the most traffic, well, that tells you that people are interested in it. Maybe I should write an article about that recipe because people are already interested in it.
Oh, okay. And even if it's not going to rank organically, it may resonate with people on social because you got some data to back it up. People are already finding it through All Recipes.
Absolutely. And so now instead of somebody having to search for it, like anything else, I'm bringing it to them. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want to know how to make, great homemade brownies or something or whatever. I keep using desserts. I don't really sell the product with desserts.
It's like, it's got to be Italian. Oh, cheesecake and then have the chicken on the side, right? Yeah.
It's usually a more savory recipe than I'm advertising. But when I'm trying to, on my website and my newsletters, I'm just giving out good information. So I'll give them a solid brownie recipe that I got from some website, plus use AI to polish it up and give me tips. I'll give them some really good information on how to cook stuff.
It's such an interesting angle because I imagine the cost per clicks or cost, that you're paying to Facebook are so much lower sending people to a piece of content on, a recipe type of page than it would be to a product sales page. And it's like, and the conversion rate is obviously going to be a lot lower too. It's like there's a balance there, but there's retargeting. There's all sorts of fun stuff you can do after that you got those people to initially click.
Yeah. I'm not pushing finance or weight loss stuff or these things that have high CPCs, cost per clicks, or high CPM. CPM is basically how much it costs for people to see your stuff.
Yeah.
This is just food stuff, and I want to find a recipe that's engaging because here's one more quick tip: if you're advertising on social media, you're working with social media, you have two different people who are your readers or your clients on there. You have the people that you're trying to sell to, whoever that is, and then you have the actual platform itself. So let's take Facebook. You're trying to reach the user, but also you need to be like taking care of Facebook. Well, how do you take care of Facebook? What's Facebook in here for? Facebook or TikTok or whatever it is. Pick your social media platform. What do they want? They want people on their platform for as long as possible. So if you're putting something out there that has people on the platform, whether it's like watching a video for like a while or engaging with the video or writing or sharing it or reading something, if you play Facebook's game or any social media platform's game, which is keep them on that platform for as long as you can, then that social media platform will reward you by putting your stuff out there for even cheaper. So
it's not even driving traffic back to blogbuck.com. It's like I'm gonna copy paste the whole recipe into the body of this Facebook post.
I could do that. Yeah. I could exactly. I could put a video out there or something. Or even if I drive, like if you can just keep them on there and play that game, and then also what Facebook likes is if you're getting them, you get the biggest, I guess, bump, if you want to call it, for sharing and comments. So if you're getting people to share your stuff or comment on your stuff, if Facebook sees it, man, this post, everybody's talking about it, they're sharing it, what's Facebook going to do? Boom, 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 boom. They want to keep people happy, keep people engaged, keep them on the platform. If you could do that, then you could do well.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, your cost per engagement or cost per reach goes way down because they're pushing it out.
Way down. Absolutely.
All right. What would you do differently? I mean, it sounds like we're 3-4 years into this business. If you had to start over, anything you'd do to accelerate the journey?
I would have gotten more aggressive with reaching out to YouTubers or user-generated content, influencer, whoever it was. I still could do that to this day, but this is a side hustle. I got other stuff going on. But it's not what you have to say; it's what other people have to say about the product. And there's a few ways of doing that. You can't just copy and paste a review. If you could really get other people to speak about the product for you, that gives leverage, man.
Would you approach it similarly today? It was like, hey, we could do a giveaway for your audience. Would you say, hey, I'd love for you to be an affiliate partner for this thing? Here's a unique referral code. Like, how would you pitch it?
Everything you just said, the essence of what you just said is what's in it for that person. Not caring about obviously I have goals here, but for me to get those goals, it's the whole Zig Ziglar thing, right? You can get everything you want if you help enough people get what they want. So right. It's what's in it for this other person. How can I make them look good or help them make money or whatever it is? Let me key in on that, and then I'll get what I need from this.
Fair enough. Any big surprises?
The surprise was, oh no, all of a sudden it's an actual business. Oh, now I have to actually work with people, and now I have to manage people, and that was a surprise. And so I didn't think about that prior to getting into this. I didn't see that coming. Yeah,
that's interesting. So the question most people ask is, well, what if this fails? What if it doesn't work? What if I just have to liquidate these 5,000 units of seasoning? The other side of it is, well, what if it does work? What's that going to look like 2, 3, 4 years down the road? And if it actually is selling, is that going to be a win for me? And I mean, it sounds like yes, but just there's other things that happened along the way or that necessitated along the way. It's like, if I don't want to be doing all the work, I'm going to have to bring on some help.
This is something that's going to sound a little bit of woo-woo, but I'm going to go there anyways. I told you at the very beginning, I bought a bunch of units, and I'm not recommending this. I'm not saying go spend a bunch of money and put yourself into a corner. That wasn't a wise move. It's just something that I did. But I will say that I feel like the mindset behind stuff is underestimated. So if I bought these units feeling like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, then I probably won't. If I buy these units and I'm like, I have to do this, then it just puts me in a different mode. You're working from a totally different place. That's one. And then the second thing, well, I've noticed this with anything that I've started, any business or whatever, I would get caught up in what's the logo going to be? What's the product? Let me optimize the product. What's my website going to look like? Let me change this color. I would do all these things, do all these different things, everything but the most important thing, which is sell it. And it was a pattern of mine.
Well, it's easy to procrastinate on. Yeah, that's the hard part.
And it makes you feel but you feel like you're doing something. It's like a running back going from sideline to sideline instead of up the field. Like you look busy, but you're not doing anything. And that's how I was. Like all these little things that make me feel good. Let me edit it up. Maybe I should go back to school. Like all these things making me feel good about it. But what I'm doing is really just procrastinating, doing the thing that's most important, which is selling the product. And if I could go back and tell myself that with anything I've done is figure out how to sell it, then figure everything else out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure out the logistics once we got some orders. Yeah, we could always change the logo down the road if we don't like it. Yeah, there's all sorts of but no, it's easy to get caught up on that. Because you want to put your best foot forward, but at the same time, yeah, I'm with you on all of that. But baldbuck.com, that's where you can find this. Order up some barbecue seasoning for yourself. Yo, Chris Gray is where you can find Chris on social. What's next for you? What's got you excited this year?
I love our newsletter and what we're doing there. That's really fun. And then I'm really excited about where AI is right now. I kind of think that we are in the wild west of it, where in my little inner bubble circle, whatever you want to call it, everybody's talking about it, but the general population isn't really on it. And I think that this is like, back in the day, I don't know how old you are, Nick. I'm 44, man, and I was around when the internet started coming to be a thing. I'm
close to that. I'm almost there.
Yeah, man. Well, you remember people were like, email, or you could buy things online. Like that's how it was back then. Now look at it today. I believe we're there with AI, and we're on the precipice of it, and a lot of people don't know about it. And there's a lot of different ways to make a lot of money, maybe using AI and robotics and automation, and or just using AI to get ideas and help with stuff. But I think we're here where there's an opportunity to use it to make money, or use it to help you make money, or directly use it to make money. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's a brave new world. We'll see where it goes. I'm trying to get better about using it on a daily, weekly basis. I know I'm just scratching the surface and try and crowdsource some wisdom from guests and from Side Hustle Show listeners as well. Like, what's your use case here? What am I missing out on? But very cool. So we'll link up all this stuff, baldbuck.com and Chris Gray's socials. Let's wrap this thing up with your number one tip for Side Hustle Nation.
My number one tip is if you are starting to sell something, or you have an idea of a product that you want to do or a service you want to do, and you're just starting, find something that already works. Don't get crafty and try to create something unique and have this idea, my blah, blah, blah. Like, to get the thing off the ground, you really want to get a ball rolling, find something that is already working, then put your spin on it. In the case of Bald Buck, the seasoning was already selling. It was already good. It already tasted good. I didn't need to come up with my own blend or something. It was already working. I put my label on it and figured out how to sell it. But I think that concept is something else that's helped me tremendously, is I leverage what's already working.
Yeah, remove part of the equation, right? Like it's a way to kind of leapfrog or piggyback what's already been done. You don't have to start completely from scratch. It's, just, there's still a lot of moving parts that you got to figure out, but it's like, well, here's one less thing to worry about, one less thing to do. So appreciate you sharing that. That was one of my takeaways here. You may not have to be a creator, an inventor completely from scratch, and maybe you iterate on something that's already out there, but go where there's some proven demand versus trying to create demand from scratch. I loved Chris's talk about the brand positioning and then going after the partnerships. We're like, well, how am I going to sell this stuff? Who's already got some traffic and eyeballs? Well, all these barbecue influencers do. How can I make it a win for them instead of and trying to find some sort of common ground and then initial outreach? Lots of good tips there. And then going back to the storytelling and the emotion and his eBay example, like It's the same stuff. It's the same commodity that it was 10 minutes ago, but now it has this story attached to it. People are willing to pay a premium for that, plus some creative ways to increase the average order size. You got to do the shipping and logistics side of it anyways. What's another couple jars of stuff to throw into the box? How do you incentivize people to increase that average order value? But what do you think? Is there an opportunity to white label a product that you already love? Your free listener bonus for this episode is my list of 20 hobby-related niches to get your creative juices flowing, like barbecue might be a hobby for you as well. On other stuff you might be able to sell for a profit. Just follow the show notes link in the episode description. It'll get you right over there. You'll be able to download that for free. Again, my list of 20 other hobby-related niches. Big thanks to Chris for sharing his insight. Big thanks to our sponsors for helping make this content free for everyone. As always, you can hit up sidehustlenation.com/deals for all the latest offers from our sponsors in one place. That is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're finding value in the show, the greatest compliment is to share it with a friend. So fire off that text message. Maybe it's to that barbecue lover in your life. Maybe it's to somebody who's just on the cusp of that next side hustle idea. Would love your help in spreading the word. Until next time. Let's go out there and make something happen. And I'll catch you in the next edition of The Side Hustle Show. Hustle on.